Hey everybody, it's the Me and My Boyfriend Nicole podcast. I'm Aurora.
And I'm the boyfriend, Nicole.
And we're back at it again here for another week. Coming to you live.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, not really live, but like we're here.
We're alive.
We're alive.
Oh, yeah.
And normally I ask Nicole what she wants to talk about.
Nicole doesn't want to talk today.
But I feel like Nicole doesn't want to talk today, so...
Okay.
We kind of wanted to discuss loneliness and how...
We didn't really want to discuss loneliness.
No, we didn't want to.
But someone had to ask somebody else, how you feeling? And I'm like...
I'm sorry, I care about you as a friend.
I know, how dare you? And we're all about, feel your feelings. And I'm like, I don't want to feel this. But, yeah. So,
but we want to talk about loneliness.
Yeah.
How it feels. How sometimes it can be a very familiar, unfamiliar feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And how you can go through life.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people go through life really trying to avoid loneliness. And how that can get you in a cycle. And the next thing you know, you don't know how to be alone.
Well, and I don't think it's just loneliness. Mm-hmm. I think it's, being sad, being anxious, basically any type of perceived negative emotions, which they're not really negative emotions. They're just emotions like everything else, you know. It's when anything is too much is when you have to worry, and when you don't feel your feelings, then it becomes something else. And so living in the now, which you and I have pinky promised to do.
Yeah.
And being in the moment, it can be hard.
It can be hard. And then also, now that you're in a new headspace, you really have to think about yourself differently. And
I have to think about myself. That's a big thing.
Woo, girl. And when you I'm not a mother. I don't know how this feels, what this is. But I feel like when you have children, you really put yourself on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're kind of not done cooking, because I feel like,
they're never done.
They're never done cooking.
Trust me, I got some adult ones. They still need help.
But once they're cooling on the rack.
Right. No offense, kids. I love you. I would never want to be anything but your mother. Well, I'd also like to be somebody's lover eventually, but that's later.
That's besides the point.
Yeah. But the thing is that it's the... People tell you all the time that you have to make yourself a priority to be able to take care of anybody else. You have to love yourself to be able to love anyone else. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay? But when you're used to always being a giver, when you're used to your comfort, your comfortable place is putting everyone else first, and then you have to make yourself a priority.
Oof.
It's really hard.
It's really hard.
It's really hard. And I talked to you about earlier is that when you start to get to your goal, whatever your goal is in life, right? And when you start to put everything in a row to do that, the closer and closer you get to that, the harder and harder things are. Things will pop up in your life. People from your past pop up, right? Going, come back to the dark side, and you're like, no, I'm going forward. I'm in forward motion. I'm always going forward. I'm not going back. But then ultimately things will pop up where you're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
And like, okay, let's say you're like, I'm going to work out, I'm going to get healthy, like that's what I'm doing. And you're like going into it headstrong. You've been doing it for a couple weeks, couple months. And ultimately every single time, I know what happens to me is that I'll get sick.
Yep.
I get an injury, whatever, get sidetracked. And
a holiday comes up.
Oh Lord, somebody's birthday.
Yeah.
Like, it's always something. You got to
get
start
out your
over
routine.
again. Yes. And it's like that right now. Like, it's the holiday season, which
it's
just
a hard
hit me,
time,
right?
Yeah. Okay. I was talking with Nicole. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Yeah. Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday. I was like, "Yo, Thanksgiving's next week."
Right. Which when this plays, it might have already happened.
Yeah. But to be fair, we don't know when this is coming out. But when we were talking, this will give you context for when we're recording these things and when they come out. No, but I was like, "Yo, Thanksgiving is next week," and you were like, "What?" Thanksgiving is next week? I was like, yeah.
I was living in the now. I didn't even know. We were not looking at next week, right?
Well, somebody had to remind me because we have been living in the now
so
much. Like, Nicole and I really
We've been taking it to the extreme.
We've been running and gunning, and right? I feel like, and I talked about this with you last week, that I feel my body is finally catching up to where I am mentally, and I'm having a little bit of a dissociation almost between who I was, who I am now, like this weird transition, like everything in my life changed all at once.
It did. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. And now I'm trying to figure out where I am and who I am and like where I'm going exactly and how I'm going to do it. And I feel like you are too with this. Do you want to talk about what's happening? We can talk about it,
yeah.
With your surgery coming up,
yeah,
you're really prepping your life right now for what it's going to be like in the after stages.
Oh, yeah.
And it's bringing up all these feelings.
Weird.
And you're much more emotionally vulnerable than you normally are. So I think that's why loneliness has really started to come to the forefront.
Right.
Because I think that's one of your biggest insecurities of what's going to happen after your surgery.
Is what?
Is whether or not, how long is it going to be before you feel comfortable enough to let somebody back into your life?
You mean to be intimate with someone?
Yeah.
How long is it going to be before I fuck?
Okay.
That basically
yeah, sure.
Is. But considering there's 91 on the horizon right now, it's probably going to be a while.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that's one of your biggest insecurities. Well, it's coming up as loneliness right now.
Wait, it's a lot more than that.
Well, yeah.
It's a lot more than that. It's everything. It's like everything coming to head. And it's 2020 and the world has fallen apart and come back together and now we're wearing masks again and and then it's the holidays and I'm completely alone. I have nobody and I was in a committed relationship for so long,
16 years.
Yeah. And I was married twice before that too for like 4 years each of those. So, do the math. It's like 24 years. I'm 46. Like
you've been married most of your life.
Yeah,
literally half,
almost all my adult life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of years I've been single.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Yeah. I believe in love. I kept trying. Now I'm like, ooh, at this point, it is me. But, yeah, so it's like now this whole who am I, without someone, which I've been single for 2 years. Like I haven't been in that relationship. And I've dated and stuff, but it's like...
It's different, though.
It's completely different. And I've never, ever in my life dated for 2 years straight and not ended up in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
But I've become so much more picky and like...
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of first dates.
Well, I think you have higher standards now. And honestly... When you're dating, I'm not trying to talk about people that get divorced and then immediately marry someone else. But do you really know who you are the first year after a long marriage? Or are you still trying to figure yourself out? It depends.
So the theory is that for every year that you're in a committed relationship, when it ends, that's how many months you should wait to date.
Okay.
So... I was married for 4 years, then I'm supposed to wait like 4 months before I start dating.
Okay.
Right? Till you start, getting in that. I was with someone for a year and a half. They started dating before I even knew we broke up. I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We friends, but, now, but I'm just saying, like, that's the reality. So I will be damned if I was going to wait a year and a half before I started dating. Yeah, that's not gonna fucking happen. So so I jumped in head first, and then I was like, it's a little cold, it's a little hot. I have no idea how to fucking do this.
I haven't swam in a while.
Right? No. Yeah.
So you were simultaneously finding out who you were, while also adding all these other people to the mix.
Yes.
And I honestly feel like now you're really coming into yourself. Like, really.
I am.
Like, I've been so proud of you.
It took a year and a half, at least, before I got there. Well, Who knew? Math was right, yes.
I wasn't going to call you out. I was
it was. But I don't care. I needed that, so.
No, I feel like you've really come into yourself this year.
I have.
And I feel like both you and I are going through a transition period.
We are.
And it's a little bit scary.
It's a lot scary.
Yeah, but at least we have each other.
We do, and that's fabulous and wonderful. And I feel like you're almost 20 years younger than me, and you're flying past me.
I'm not
fucking
flying
butterfly.
past you.
And I'm like, I'm so happy for you. I really want to snip those fucking wings. Slow down, bitch.
Okay, just because. Okay, never mind.
Okay. But no, it's just like, like.
So how are you feeling right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I feel fucking naked 24 hours a day. Like, so we made a promise when we did this podcast that we're like, we're going to be raw, we're going to be real, and we're just going to tell how we're really feeling. Guess what? It's really hard to turn that shit off.
Oh, who you telling?
I have not been vulnerable like this in forever. And now it's like my heart is just open. My soul's open. I can't go in a grocery store without feeling like I need to like help everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like open all the time. And
oversharing.
Dude, well, I'm not even telling people, but I just feel it. Like
it's on your skin.
Yes.
Everybody can see it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, close the door. And I'm like, it won't close. Like somebody freaking super glued it open. Like, oh my God. I just feel everything. Like, the sky is so beautiful. Oh my God, a child's laughter. Oh, look at that couple. Oh, you're fucking alone. Ah! Like, oh, you know, like, I'm just like, close the door. Like, this is why we never opened the door. Like, you only cracked it. And you're like, ooh, look, that's being vulnerable. Oh, close that shit. All right. You know, like, and now I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm doing everything at one time, and it's so much. And I know it sounds fucking crazy, like, but I'm opening my heart. I'm being honest. And if you listen to the last episode, you know how that worked for me. Mm-hmm. You know?
We don't know about the order, but yeah. If you listen to the one with Jeff.
With Jeff.
Then
you'll know, like.
Shit got real.
And I'm like, well, that didn't work.
And then we really put it on the podcast.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, but I'm like, okay, so I'm being honest and real in every relationship I have, you know, and then I'm making myself a priority, and I've done all the work, and I love me. I do too, you know, and all this other stuff. And then I'm getting ready to have surgery, and, you know, I'm going to be a new me and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, like it's right here, like 3 weeks, like it's right here. By the time this plays, I will have already had surgery, most likely.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Like, who am I?
Who are you?
Who am I?
And I don't know if you're consciously asking yourself this question.
What?
But are you asking yourself, who's going to be with me at the end of this?
Well, you know, okay, so that's a couple things. Like, at first, I was really, like, crying because I felt, like, really alone. Like, I'm getting ready to go through this, and, like, I don't have anybody. And then, you know, my tribe felt that. And you were calling me, you know, like Nicole's calling me, Trinity's talking to me, you know. I'm like, even the ex called and was like, how you feeling? I'm like, ooh, how the hell did you know I was having a rough time? And so I'm like, you know, y'all all talked to me, and y'all figured out the schedule to go with me for surgery, and who's going to be there with me and stay with me and take care of me. And that is so vulnerable.
Yeah.
That is so vulnerable. Like, we've talked about it before on here about the asking, like, in my body language right now, I mean, I got my arms wrapped around my chest, like, I'm ready to get in the fetal position.
I know.
But,
it's okay.
I know, but it's like, we talked about it, like, asking anyone for help is both of our like, hardest things. Like, we're the ones that take care of everybody else, you know? And so, to ask for help, which the most beautiful thing that y'all did for me is I didn't even have to ask. I didn't have to ask. Like, y'all knew and called me and were like, okay, Nicole's going to take this day. You're going to take this day. Trinity's got everything else. Like, you know, and Darlene's like, whatever you need, like, I'll go get. Like, just let me know. Like,
yeah.
All the people were there. Amy was like, let me know. I'll bring stuff, whatever. Like, everybody's there for me, you know, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm not alone, you know. I didn't even have to ask for help. Like, you know, I'm so just lucky and full of love. And I'm like, and then that makes me emotional because I'm like, oh, I do have people, you know. And then it's redefining what is love.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because I think so many times we always think of love as romantic love.
Yes.
And then family love.
Yes.
You know, and I tell you all the time that I love you. I tell all my peoples I love them. You know, if you're in the bubble, you're loved. Trust.
So you tell people that you love them, but do you let them love you, kind of thing? Like,
oh Lord, look, Dr. Phil.
I'm just saying, like, I think you're so used to giving, and now it is your time to take. And I think that's really made you uncomfortable, that you know that you are really going to have to lean on people.
I'm completely dependent. Completely dependent. Like, I can't lift my arms over my head. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to be the most vulnerable state I've ever been since I've been an infant. Mm-hmm. Like, this is scary as hell.
Yeah, and you've got all this responsibility at your home.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really going to have to let off the reins for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really let off the reins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting power dynamic that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making you question all these things, like who you are, what you're going to be like after.
Mm-hmm.
What is love? Oh, all these people love me, but I'm not used to accepting love this way. But you usually think of love as a husband, a boyfriend who's going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
But
girlfriend, wife,
whatever. Like, your romantic person is the person that takes care of you, when that's not necessarily true at all.
Right? Yeah.
And I would even argue, and I'm the first person to say this, I would say that my friendships have been way more important than any romantic relationship I've ever had in my life, because my friends are still here.
But how much of that is because you allow them to still be here, and you allowed yourself to be vulnerable with them? Maybe you didn't with your relationships.
Okay,
and
maybe
you didn't have as many, you know?
That's fair. That's probably correct.
Yeah.
But I think because I've always built my life around really, really good friendships, I trust those more.
Well, they've lasted longer in my life and been there for me more too in a lot of ways.
I think it's interesting that we invest a lot more in friendships, but we don't give them the weight and the acknowledgement that I feel like that they need.
Well, and for me, that's not necessarily true, because I'm
not talking about you specifically.
Yeah.
I'm talking about society as a whole when I say that.
Friendship has always been more important to me, because, like, me and my baby daddy, you know, like, we're friends still. Yeah. You know, like, good friends, you know, and it does have a lot to do with the fact that we had a child together, and a special needs child, and so I think that we're much more patient with each other, and have allowed each other, you know, to be whoever we are. Yeah. Separate from each other, you know, and I wish him the best and he wishes me the best. But also we spent, you know, a third of our life together. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's a huge deal, and it's like,
that's an investment of time.
Well, and he's a good person. Maybe what happened wasn't great, but he is a good man. He's a good father. He's been a good friend to me, and you know, I wish him the best. And I'm not going to talk about his life or his relationships, but he's doing so good, and he's such a good place, and he has really good people in his life, and I'm so happy for him, you know? And I'm just like, okay, when's my turn?
I was about to say, you're not...
I'm like, I deserve love. And then I'm like, bitch, you got a bunch of love. You have so many people. Like, I have my children and my grandchild. And and I have another one on the way. And
bomb drop.
I know, right? And I have, you know, all of you, my tribe, my women, my friends, and you know, I'm like, I have so much in my life and so much love and so much more than so many people have. And so it's like, I should feel happy. And I do feel happy. But right now, I'm like, but I really want someone to share my life with. And like we were talking earlier, I'm like, it's not about that I have to be with someone. I could go down to a local bar and pick up someone in 2 seconds and have a relationship, trust.
And commit all of yourself to it.
And I'm like, I could get on any dating app, swipe right, and I guarantee I could be in a relationship today.
Yeah.
Right?
Within the hour.
Yeah. But that's not what I want. I'm like, I want it to happen organically. Like, I want, poof, and they pop up, and they're like, I am your person. I'm like, sweet. Like, show me. Yeah. And then it's just like, it's like, I just want that. I know what it is, and I'll know, and I meet that person, and you just have to let it happen. But I'm like,
in the meantime, you're lonely, and it sucks.
It does. And so, so we're getting ready. We're getting ready for love and talking about it.
Crazy look in your eye when you told me that, and I'm like, okay.
Well, and sharing how you feel helps you feel better. I don't feel like I'm gonna cry right now,
which is good.
I felt like I was gonna, I felt like it was at the chin level, holding back the tears all day since yesterday. I cried on the phone with you this morning. I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice, and were you polite enough not to respond? You did, didn't you? You were. I love you. That
I figured
really
you didn't need me to acknowledge it.
I really don't like people to acknowledge it.
No, so...
Unless I'm like, oh my God, so sad, give me a hug. A lot of times I don't touch me.
No. Don't touch me when I'm crying, because if you touch me when I'm crying, it's... Oh, right? No.
See, you know what it is? You have to be that person. It's like it has to be that person. It is that relationship person. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, otherwise I'm like, give me a moment.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, because it's like, if you touch me, it might not stop.
Yeah.
The tears
That's really what it is.
It might keep going, and then I'm like, it's going to be that choky, like,
and you're like, okay,
that's sexy, that's hot. Right?
Grey's Anatomy.
Redefining that, huh?
I gotta share my Grey's Anatomy story that reminded me. Sorry. It made me think of that. That full-on ugly sob, cry, nasty, oh my gosh, hope no one ever sees me this way. Yeah. That happens to me every single time Burke leaves Christina. And she's getting the necklace off, and she's like, it's choking me. And Meredith is cutting out of her dress. If I need a cathartic release, I just pop on that episode, and I'm like, all right, let's go, baby.
I'm so happy for you.
Sorry.
I'm so happy for you. You know what always surprises me?
What?
Is the relationships that I've had, romantic relationships, and how you get all dressed up to go out somewhere, with them, and the person with, male or female, won't say anything. They'll be like, oh, let's go, blah, blah. They don't tell you, hey, you look gorgeous, you're beautiful, whatever. Sometimes they do. But when you've been together for a long time, But then, let you have a full-on breakdown, especially when you don't have breakdowns often, or be sick as hell and everything, hair up in a scrunchie on top of your head, sweats that you haven't changed in 2 days, you're looking like a total mess, no makeup, full on, right? And they're like, you're so beautiful. And I'm like, really now? Now? not when I was all dressed up and hot as hell. No, that was let's go. Now that I'm a total mess and just falling apart, now you're like, you're so beautiful. I'm like, I appreciate it because I really need it right now. But also I wonder, what does that say about you?
I think it says a lot about the human condition more than anything, that someone's really showing you themselves and their vulnerability is much more beautiful than the perfect package. Yeah. Because the perfect package isn't real. Not really. It's really you, but you have put the makeup on, put the hair, you put on your armor to be that way.
Which is so funny because for me, my armor is baseball cap, jeans, t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. But boots. You know what I mean, though. When you really get dressed up, that is a certain level of armor that you're like, all right, I'm hot.
Right? So for me, it's a Pretty Woman moment. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Love that moment.
Where she was like, why'd you dress me up? Yeah. If people are going to treat me like shit. Like, I feel more comfortable being in my clothes. I can handle it. If someone's going to give me attitude or be rude to me or whatever.
Right.
Then getting all dolled up and being, out of my comfort zone. And then someone kicks me in the nuts. Then it's like, woo. I'm like, that's kind of the difference for me. So, yeah, it's like, dude, vulnerability is like so hard.
It's really hard.
The B word. And
we have been more vulnerable. You and I are not very emotionally available people. And
I thought I was for so long until fucking Darlene busted me out about that shit.
You and I
love Darlene. It was the best gift she could ever give me. But I never in my life realized that I was not like that. I thought I was such an emotional person. Like, and then I figured out that I wasn't, because she put a mirror up to my face. And then I was like, whoa, and so I've been working on that for so long. And now I'm like, how do you turn it off?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
I can't put it back in the box.
I was telling you earlier that I feel like I'm really wearing a lot for everybody to see. I'm like, okay, it needs to go back in, because I am not getting through life very well right now. And I'm like, okay, I need to find a good balance of being open and vulnerable for the podcast and with Nicole. It also doesn't help, Nicole, that you and I talk every day and we talk about real shit in the morning before we both
right. There's a reason we decided to do this podcast.
We talk about very emotional things pretty much every morning.
Right.
So we start the day off like that.
Well, but here's the thing. Let's go to the whole attracting the love of my life, the goal. Is that if I want someone who's going to be there for me, right? So I've always been the giver, and now I want someone else who's a giver, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I have to be vulnerable and show that I am that way, right? I have to open myself up this way.
Absolutely.
And I think the whole point is not putting it back in the box anymore, like truly being myself, like, we talk about being in the feminine energy, like being all of it at once, being the independent, strong woman when I need to be, and then also being the soft, vulnerable one when I need to be, like not just being one way all the time, that I need to truly be myself and be open to that all the time. And it's just an adjustment. It's a huge adjustment. I feel like a baby bird being pushed out the fucking nest. And I'm like,
oh,
God. I don't even know if I have 2 wings. What do you mean fly? Oh, this is going to go so bad. Like,
then you slam to the ground and you're
right?
like, eh.
I'm like, thanks, Mom.
No, but just think about what happened with me. I really opened myself up, and look what's come into my life recently.
Oh, bitch.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I am so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Oh.
But no, I really, and I don't know.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Right? Speedy fucking Gonzalez. What?
I don't know.
Superstar. Golden stars. Okay. So
I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know where it's going to go, but it is really nice to be open and vulnerable and I'm being myself with somebody. And
I'm glad I could be an example for you of what not to do.
Oh, hush.
Right? What? Go ahead. Be honest. Go ahead. Because I know that you learned some things from me. And then you're like, okay, I see what not to do. I see what to do.
No.
What did she say she wants? Yeah, I want that plus blah, 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 blah. And you're like, swipe, ding. And I'm like, am I allowed to say this word?
What?
You're such a cunt. I mean that with all the love in my heart.
I honestly didn't know where anything was going to go.
Right. And I'm teasing you. You know how happy I am for you.
Oh, I know.
I am so happy for you. You deserve love more than anyone in this whole wide world, which we all deserve love. But I am truly so proud of you. And it is such a beautiful thing just seeing the beautiful woman you're growing into with this big, huge heart and wearing your feelings. And
you see me the before, now you're kind of seeing me shift into the after.
And I literally see you just growing and glowing, like emotionally seeing you so just clear and so defined in what you want and so vulnerable.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. Like, it's just like this whole new you, like there's a glow. And
it's very uncomfortable.
I love it. I love it.
It's breaking me out of my routine, like a routine I didn't know I wanted to be out of. But yeah, so I really wish this feeling for you, but I know it was kind of what?
Nothing. I'm very excited for you. I had that feeling. I've had that feeling a couple of times, and I don't now. And it's like, here is exactly what you want in life. Here it is. Here it is sampled before you. Here is the greatest appetizer, the most delicious thing you will ever taste in your life. Here is a tiny taste. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're like, here's the perfect wine with it. And they're like, that's all you can have. And then it's like, you know, the salad, the main course, like just one bite, just try it. You smell the aroma. And I'm like, oh, I fucking smell it. And they're like, okay, that's it. And then here comes the dessert. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm on my knees, pour it down my throat. And they're like, drop. And then we take it away. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And they're like, here's the peanut butter and jelly you're used to. And I'm like, fuck peanut butter and jelly. I don't want that anymore. And they're like, well,
too bad.
Sorry. We have nothing else to offer you. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, it's really, really shitty that you had the taste of the best meal and now it's taken away. I like how we equate love to food every time.
Well, yeah, they both feed your soul. Yeah.
About our foodie asses. Anyway. Right. No, but you've had the best meal, so you know what good tastes like.
Yeah.
What really good tastes like. Like, oh my God, give me more.
Right? But now, if I could get that whole, you know, like 5-course meal,
but saying,
offered to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
But you've now raised the bar. You know what you want.
Yes.
So now it's everything else that doesn't compare.
Mm-hmm.
Cut it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, like...
I know
you know.
It still takes a moment.
I know.
And I'm not in a place where it's like, I can do that right this second.
And you're not in a place you would probably even eat the meal. Like, let's be honest.
Oh, I would devour the fucking meal. If it showed up right now, girl... I would. Mm-hmm. I would. But I feel like I'm not supposed to be looking for the person, that the person is going to find me. I feel like that I need to sit back and wait. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm supposed to be learning patience right now, and I'm so bad at that. And so it's really hard. It's really hard. And I'm like, I know that I deserve love. I know that I'm ready for love. Mm-hmm. You know, I know that I'm ready for that person, that next chapter in my life. So I'm like, come fucking find me and let's move this show on the road. Like, literally.
But in the meantime...
Yeah.
Who are you? What are you doing? You know, you have to be your own partner.
You're an asshole.
I'm just saying.
I love you. I hate you. Be my own partner. Yeah, I know. And I've done the date myself thing too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm just like, all right. If we're done with all this shit.
If you're always waiting for the sky to fall or the shoe to drop.
I told you about giving them Hallmark moments, didn't I?
I know. I'm just saying, if you're always waiting, everything else is like passing you by. So you were literally in a prime position to be like, yo, I got all my shit figured out. Mm-hmm. Come find me. You get to join the crew.
Well, yeah.
You get to get on my bus.
It is the time of COVID.
Yeah.
It is the time of lockdown, you know, and we got out for a little while, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, psych, masks, you know, which I understand. I'm not making light of the situation, but it's really hard to meet someone in real life right now.
Oh, yeah. It's like basically
impossible. You know, yeah, when you do go out, when you're allowed to go out, you got to wear a mask and freaking, you know, everything else. So. Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
And people don't talk to each other like, oh my God, you could have cooties. And I'm like, oh, but I'm really cute under here. And they're like,
you could look like anything.
Yeah, I'm out.
No, but I'm just saying, there's just like something so beautiful about somebody like who is living their life and's got their shit together. Mm-hmm. And you're just adding to it. you don't have to be it. You add to it.
Well, I completely agree. You know, I'm like, that's what I want. That's the dream. I'm like, what are you bringing to the table? What are you adding to my life? What am I adding to your life? And I never, ever, ever want to get in a situation or a relationship where either one of us has to give up things that we truly care about to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I only want to add joy and happiness and, you know, love to someone's life. I don't want to ever make them feel like they have to pick something else. I don't want to ever make them feel like they have to give something up to be with me. Because I'm like, if it's the right person, then whatever time we spend together will be precious and wonderful and great. And when we have to go adult or do whatever, that's cool. It's not a problem. That's what the phone's for, you know? And so I'm at a point in my life where, which we said before, I don't need someone to complete me. I am a complete person all by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I finally know what I really want, you know, in life. And I'm living my dream. I'm like, all my people are great. You know, I'm getting my body healthy. My mind and my soul are strong. I'm, you know, in this whole new, like, power and dimension and beauty in my life of being a woman, like, totally embracing it. Right? So let's do this shit. So now I'm like, yeah, if you could just pop up on my doorstep, that would be great.
That would be fabulous.
But I'm like, you know, I do know too that I'm like, that is not, having someone romantically in my life is not the end all be all, you know.
To make it complete.
Yeah. If things were to end tonight, right? This was the end. I feel so just happy in my soul that I've got to do everything that I've done in my life. Like, I truly feel thankful I've, you know, experienced love and lost. Well, I really have. And that I've had children, you know, and watched them grow. And I've got to see my grandchild. And we started this podcast, you know, and, you know, I've done so many things in my life and traveled and, you know, built this family for myself. And that deep down in my soul, like, I just have amazing gratitude for everything that I have and that I've experienced and, you know, overcome and everything else. And, you know, I am at a happy place where I wouldn't have any regrets. Like, I don't have any regrets. You know, I don't want it to end today. Like, I still have a lot of living to do. I'm personally going to live to 106, and on my 106th birthday, that's what I'm going to sleep in. That's it.
You're just like, I'm out.
That's the day. But yeah, I'm like, I'm happy. You know, I love myself, and I'm just ready for that next phase. Like, I'm really ready. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm probably so emotional about it right now, is that I am so close to getting everything. Like, I really feel like 2021, boo! Like, it's all coming together. It's like a new me, new boobs, new body, like, everything. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
I saw this meme. It's gonna put a damper on your spirit, but I saw this meme and made me laugh.
What?
And it was like, I love how everybody's like, life is turning around. Everything's going to be great come January 1st, 2021. I love that for us.
Right?
And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really do feel like things, it can't always be bad. Like, it's just not natural. The way of the world.
But you know what, though?
It's like an ebb and a flow. And, like, I feel like even this conversation has been an ebb and a flow. And I feel like you're already feeling better now that we've talked about it more.
Oh, yeah. There's the joy now.
I can tell in your whole demeanor, you're much more open with your body language now.
Right? I'm not in the fetal position in this chair, like, hugging myself now. Now I'm like...
You're turned towards me, we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not trying to deflect me off.
Yeah. This is a normal conversation we have every morning.
Oh, gosh, I know.
Yeah. And And I think that another big part is the living in gratitude. You know, like when I think about everything and where I'm at and where I came from, you know, all the way back to childhood, I'm so grateful about everything. And living in gratitude, you know, it's another very vulnerable state. But it checks your motherfucking ass about like what you do have. Because it's so much easier to go, well, I don't have this and I don't have that and blah, blah, blah. And what about this? And woe is me. And not that we don't all have a right to do that. But then when I look at, but you can see, you can talk, you can walk, you have a roof over your head, there's food in your fridge, you know where your next meal's coming from, you got a ton of friends, you have family, you know, like, you might have some problems with certain things, but you're doing a hell of a lot better, you know, than a lot of people are, or than you were 5 years ago, or whatever,
just
you know?
about to say, like, especially when you haven't had, or you've lived without, when you finally have it, it really makes you very thankful.
You want to know one of my favorite childhood memories? Like, this tells you a lot about my life. One of my favorite childhood memories is I was like 12 years old, and my mom had left my dad again, and which I moved 30 times before I graduated high school.
Dear Jesus.
Yeah. So I used to tell people all the time that it was because my dad was in the military, and then he got out of the military and he was in the VA, you know? And the only way you can move up is if somebody dies or retires, which was true.
Not a lie.
Yes. But that equated for not even a third of the moves. The other times was every time my mom left my dad and then would go back. Yeah. Like 7th grade, I went to 4 different schools.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so one of my happiest memories was we didn't have like any money. We had boxes that we were pretending like were tables and everything. We got a couch that we were sleeping on that my mom had got like from the trash, right? And it was one of those things when my mom left my dad. She was a nurse, but on one income, and my father made a lot more money than my mom, right? He was like chief of prosthetics and a orthesis, and so he made artificial arms and legs, people. But when my mom was on her own, like she had to leave the bank account, savings account, everything else, start over again every time. And it's whatever she could shove in the car and have to leave, right? And so we'd be going to private school, you know, and living in a big, large house and always having plenty of food. But then you never know what's going to happen or who's going to attack you or, you know, anything else. And so then my mom would leave and she would start all over again. And then, you know, you miss someone or they tell you everything's going to be different this time or whatever. And then we go back, right?
Yeah.
So my mother one time, which I know was a huge deal for her, she went to a women's shelter and got us groceries and brought those home. And the happiest memory I have is in that bag was a box of Nerd cereal, and we were never really allowed to have sugar and stuff. And so it was like sugar, right? But it was cereal and it was Nerds, and like you open one side and it was like grape, and you open the other side and it was cherry, and I just thought it was the neatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And it has stayed with me this whole time, you know? But it's also something that I have shared with my children, you know, that story, and about how you always have to give back, you know? And it's something that's always stayed with me, that someone put that, you know, there, and they donated that from their heart, and that it has stuck with me, you know.
And I think they even did it with the intention of, like, a child probably doesn't have cereal, and they're going to open this box and have this sugary cereal that you probably don't normally get.
Well, yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, someone put that intention of, like, really making a memory and happiness for you, and you were the person that got it.
Well, and for me, I think that it's, you never know what thing you do is going to touch someone else.
Yeah.
And that the things that we say and do to other people, you know, mean more than we'll ever know.
Yeah.
You know, giving a smile to a stranger, donating a box of cereal to a shelter, you know, helping someone carry their groceries in their house, like, just sitting and talking to someone who seems sad, you know, buying that car behind you their coffees, you know, tipping your waitress a little extra, you know, opening a door for somebody, just all the little things, the casual interactions that we have no idea how much that impacted someone else. When they're emotional again, at that state, like just like how I was today, just how I felt so alone and so sad, and like the people in my life reached out to me, but what if I didn't have that? You know, and I was going through this truly alone, where I had no one to take care of me when I have surgery, you know, and I didn't have my children, I didn't have my friends for whatever reason, and trying to go through this. Then a stranger holding the door open for me, someone saying, "How is your day?" It already makes a huge difference in my life, but it would really make a huge difference. Just
to let you know that you're not really alone. Like,
yes,
that we're all going through life, just trying to make it. Like, sometime, you know, a day at a time, an hour at a time, a minute at a time. Like, just depending on what's going on. And
you know how I feel. So I feel that we are all connected.
Yeah.
Like, we are all truly, truly connected. If you've never read it, read it, The Alchemist. I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest books. And it talks about that, like the soul of the world, right? And I've always felt that way. I feel like we are all connected to each other, you know? And we all pretty much have the same basic needs in life, you know? And also have the same beliefs. And everyone is looking for love. Everyone is looking for acceptance, you know? No one wants to hurt anybody else. No one wants to be hurt. But as we go through life, we start to build up these walls. We quit being vulnerable like we were as children.
Yeah.
You know, we quit playing. We quit really being ourselves because of society, parents, teachers, who might have had a positive intention, but for us it turned out to be a negative thing, because then we're like, okay, don't be that loud.
Yeah.
Don't dress that way. Don't talk that way. Don't act this way. You know, people don't want to know exactly what you're thinking or feeling or whatever, and so we keep pushing everything down about ourselves, pushing everything down to where we don't feel connected to anyone anymore at all.
Right.
But then once you do allow yourself to be vulnerable, once you do allow yourself to be out there, once you are honest with yourself and everything else, it's like you can't help but feel connected to every single person.
And you can't help but wanting to make other people feel the way you do right now.
Oh, yeah, I want to scream it from the rooftops. In a positive way.
In a positive way.
Yeah,
I'm saying, if you feel so good and so happy, it is so natural, and this is why I think that humans are inherently good, is that when we feel something positively, we want to make sure that everybody else feels as good as we do. Right.
When you feel disconnected to people, though, too, like I told you earlier, too, I don't know that all these emotions are mine. It's a big thought, people, okay? But it's like when you're thinking about someone and all of a sudden they call you or text you. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, are you thinking about them or were they thinking about you? You know, it kind of blends, you know? And it's like when you're really connected to people and you're totally open and vulnerable, you know, some people call it being an empath. Other people say it's body language, whatever it is. You walk into a room and you're really happy and the room is really down. Let's say it's a funeral or something, or like a hospital, people are sick. You feel that energy.
It's literally like walking into a wall.
Right? If you're having a really rough day and then you go into work and it's somebody's birthday and they got cake and everybody's like, woohoo, you know, or somebody won the lottery or whatever, like you feel that energy and you're like, woohoo, like you can't help it, right? Well, that's how I feel now, where it's like I feel like taking the energy of the world, or at least the people that are closest to me. And so I'm like, I was feeling so good, like for so long. And then all of a sudden now it's like I hit a wall. And I'm sure a lot of that does have to do with me, but I don't feel like it all does. I feel like I'm so open now. Like I'm feeling it. Like this time of year is really hard for people. I love the holidays. You know, this is like one of my favorite times of the year. And I have nothing to complain about. But I just feel like my heart breaking for anyone that doesn't have someone. You know, that this is a hard time for them because they've lost someone, or maybe they had a rough time when they were a child, or they don't have their children with them, or there's so many possibilities. And it's just like, it breaks my heart and I just want to cry. Mm-hmm. Like, for those that can't just enjoy today for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know? And then I'm like, ooh, you know? So.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm just thinking about, well, it brings to mind two things. One is, you know how when you're younger, your parents are always like, be careful who your friends are.
The company you keep.
The company you keep becomes who you are.
Yeah.
So it makes me think about that and how truly powerful that is. And it's kind of like silly and dumb when you're younger. You're like, whatever. But really, the company you keep is really who you are at the end of the day. Like, their emotions affect you. And I agree with you. I think today you were feeling a lot of weight. Some of it was you, obviously. But, like, I think a lot of it, you had kind of really shouldered other people's burdens today. Mm-hmm. And you were really feeling it, and it was making you feel the weight of not only theirs, but yours. Mm-hmm. And you were literally unburdening yourself on me, and I'm in a place now where it's not burdening me to listen to it, really, at the end of the day. When
I don't do it all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean you wouldn't say. But I'm saying, you know, you are literally reaching out, saying, I don't want to be alone, and you were not alone in those feelings, because you literally got to share them with me.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that we all take time to take a moment and see how we're really feeling. And I think it's important to share that with the people that you love and you trust and you feel close to, you know?
I think talking to somebody and really reaching out and letting them know how you're feeling and even asking them, how are you feeling, is a great way to kind of connect back into that, like, multi-conscious one soul, like,
absolutely,
letting you know, like, you're not alone, because you're not. Like, you are not alone in the universe. You're not the first person to make up depression, anxiety, like, that's...
No, but in today's society where we are so separated, where you can't sit next to strangers, you know, you can't open up that conversation and dialogue.
It's
so
easy
much
to feel
harder.
like an island.
Yes.
It's so easy to feel like an island.
And I think it's so important to connect with your friends and your family, to go outside of yourself and do something for someone, especially this time of year. Get an angel gift for someone. You know, that's where there's a tree at your local Walmart or wherever, and they'll have angels gifts. It'll, you know, it should be going on by now. And like, you get a gift for a foster child, or you donate time at like a local pantry, or with, you know, big brothers, big sisters, like something. You go and, you know, read stories at your local library. Okay, I get that it is time of COVID, so like you can't do a lot of these, but there's always something we can do.
Toys for Tots, all of that stuff.
Yes, yes. Pick up, you know, trash at the local park, like whatever. It makes you feel better
to help
and
somebody.
You're always helping someone else, and you get so much more in return, you know. And this time of year, we are all going through everything. But the greatest gift that we can give each other is love and respect and just kindness. Just kindness. Just share your joy. Bake some cookies. Take them to your neighbor.
Yeah.
You know, like, sing some songs. Turn on the music and dance. Dance. You know?
Dance. Ooh.
Dance parties. What?
Also, call the person that you're thinking about.
Yes.
This is something that I do whenever I really, really, really miss my dad. I always text him. Like, I miss you, love you. Don't even really want a response back.
Yeah.
Just want to let him know that I'm thinking about him. And let the people in your life know that you really care and love for them. Because you'd be surprised. Someone may really need that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I did
someone
today.
literally just, like, reaching out and be like, hey, girl.
Yeah.
Thinking about you. Love you. Appreciate you. It doesn't even have to be this big, long, drawn-out thing. It can literally be, like, thinking about you. Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it can be I miss you.
Uh-oh. Don't be talking about missing people.
I couldn't help it.
How's Jeff feel about people missing people?
We didn't have to be that specific.
Oh, well, we knew.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general, you can tell that to people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so
I guess
life goes on.
Too many feelings in the room because Fruckus is literally
her cat is like, let me the hell out of here.
Please let me out. Dear God.
Yeah. We're in the new podcast room, which looks amazing.
Yeah, we're in the process.
So we will be showing you this very soon. It is a hodgepodge, gorgeous mess.
Can't wait for everybody to see it.
Right? Tons of colors and leopard.
There's
there's a leopard.
This room signifies Nicole and I and
100%.
Our beautiful love for each other.
Right? What's up? High five. Woo!
Boop, boop.
So, I hope you followed along and that you got something out of this. I don't know. Divulging my soul and being soulfully naked all the fucking time, but
I don't know if we talked about what we said we were going to talk about. We talked about
who
something,
fucking
though.
knows? Yeah.
I feel like this always happens.
Exactly. Yes, it is.
This one's a little more serious
than
our usual ones.
It is. Don't worry, we'll be crazy, and I'll be talking about sex and everything by the next episode. It'll be all good.
Oh my gosh. Wait, hold up. Big breakthrough.
What?
And I have been wanting to say to this. Every single time I get close to an emotion with you, you deflect with a sex joke.
Are you serious right now?
I'm just saying.
Right?
So I'm really proud of you.
Oh
and you must have been really needed something because you didn't even deflect with a sex joke, not once this whole time.
Aww. Yeah. Suck my cock.
There it is. There's the Nicole I love. Aww,
I love you too.
She's back.
All right. Well, if no one's told you today.
Are we doing that again?
We are. We love you.
Okay, yeah.
You're such a douche when it gets to the end. You're like, I put out everything I'm putting out. I really don't care now. And I'm like, no, I'm the one who is like all like, meow. But now I'm like, just know that you're loved and you're beautiful and you're perfect because you are.
You are.
You are. You are.
Okay.
Say something nice to people.
Hi. I hope you have a great day.
You're so full of it.
No.
You are wonderful and perfect and shine and love and happy mwah, 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 mwah. Sparkles and
seriously, write this in the mirror. I'm gonna write this in my mirror. I have a dry erase marker.
Oh, I'll take a picture and we'll post it. What?
Okay, just tell yourself like, I see you, I hear you, I love you. You know, if nobody's told you that today, tell yourself that until someone else is telling you.
Right.
But yeah, well, our time is wrapping up. We're on a countdown right now. Nicole literally was like, look at the timer. Excuse me, ma'am. You're taking too long.
Whatever. So, happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa. What else?
Boxing Day. Woo!
Woo! I'm sure we missed something. I'll look.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Happy New Year. Whatever it is.
Happy holidays.
Right?
You know, hit them all. Ring the bell.
Exactly.
Toll the bell.
Enjoy your life. Love yourself. And love whoever you're with and know that I am jelly. I mean, hi. Okay, have a great day.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Love you. Bye. Peace.
Peace.